All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I have for you guys is kind of an interesting collab here. A collab I never really thought we would get to see, and that is Roelly Winklaar collabing with Larry Wheels. I really enjoyed seeing these videos. So they did a workout together, a training session. You guys probably saw by now the video of them curling side by side, kind of comparing arm size there. And Roelly, as usual, is looking pretty massive. So Roelly has said and kind of teased a few times that he's going to be competing very soon. As you guys know, he still needs to qualify for the 2021 Mr. Olympia. And at this point, he's probably the biggest name, the biggest star power bodybuilder that's not on that list yet. I mean, it seems like we haven't seen Roelly on the Olympia stage in forever, so it doesn't really feel the same without him. He was the people's champ at the Olympia. In 2018, I think people forget Roelly was third at the 2018 Olympia. 2019, the last time we saw Roelly at the Olympia, he was fifth. He was top 5 at the Olympia. So I think we need to see Roelly back on stage in 2021. Granted, 2020 wasn't really his fault. It was kind of a circumstance outside of his control that had to do with the virus. He got stranded. He couldn't compete. He couldn't get here to do the Olympia. So looking at the shape that Roelly's in now, it's kind of a guessing game what show he could be getting ready for. I think based on the shape, he's probably not getting ready for the Puerto Rico Pro, which is at the end of June. I'm thinking either Chicago or Tampa is going to be the show that Roelly does to qualify for the Olympia. Roelly also posted this video, a training video, on his own Instagram page today as well, kind of showing how he's looking at this point in his prep for his qualification for the Olympia. And while I think he looks good, I think he still looks like he's a certain distance out from a show, and I don't think that's going to be a show in June. I'm thinking late July, early August is probably going to be Roelly's target, and the two biggest shows that fall in that window, like I said, are Tampa and Chicago. So as we're getting closer to the Olympia, shows are starting to dwindle, opportunities are starting to dwindle, and I think we're narrowing it down. And a bodybuilder with a name as big as Roelly, I think he's going to do one of the bigger shows, and that's going to be Tampa or Chicago. That's going to be my guess. Now, there was also another post of Roelly put up by StrengthNet, who is the videographer/photographer for Larry Wheels. And it was interesting. He was talking in that post about the measurements of Roelly's arms. Apparently, they measured Roelly's arms after that workout at 23 inches all the way around. His forearms measured 20 inches. I mean, it's insane how big Roelly's arms are. And people have made this argument in the past that he's got the best arms, specifically triceps. People really like his triceps in the IFBB overall right now. Even compared to Phil Heath, a lot of people make that argument. So will we see Roelly on stage soon? Roelly says yes. I think yes. If I had to guess a show, I would guess Chicago or Tampa. If I had to pick one of those two, I would probably guess Tampa. So I guess we'll see. But like I said, he does still need to qualify, so we will need to see Roelly compete prior to the Olympia if he plans on making it to the Olympia. But I think I speak for a lot of us when I say we want to see Roelly back on stage. Top 3, top 5. We need Roelly back. So speaking of the Olympia, it's kind of crazy to believe we're getting so close to the Olympia now that bodybuilders are posting prep photos saying how many weeks out they are from the Olympia. First, we've got Justin Rodriguez, the Indy Pro champion this year, posting his first update after his last show, 18 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia. Again, it's crazy that we're already getting to this point. There were several bodybuilders today that posted updates, but I want to get your guys' predictions on all of these. Justin, where will he land in the Olympia lineup? Top 10? Top 6? Where do you see him placing after we saw that fantastic package that he brought to the Indy Pro? And the New York Pro as well. So that's Justin 18 weeks out. Another bodybuilder that we got an 18 weeks out update from was Nick Walker. Nick Walker posting his first physique update, I guess the first official physique update for his Olympia prep, which he's 18 weeks away. I've said this before, but I predict if Nick Walker looks how he looked at the New York Pro prejudging, he will have no problem placing top 6 at the Olympia this year. I know that's an early prediction, and I know that's probably a pretty wild prediction, but the package that we saw from him in New York, if he brings that to the Olympia stage, there's no, that or better, I should say. If he's better than that, that's even better. Better is better. But if he brings that package or better, there's no doubt in my mind that would be enough to make first call out at the Olympia. I think he looked that good in New York. And based on this update, I mean, he's certainly bringing the size. There's no question that he's got the size to hang with all these top IFBB pros. And then he proved in New York he also could bring the conditioning to hang with these top IFBB pros. So like I said, New York conditioning or better on the Olympia stage. Nick's going to be a top 6 guy. Now, speaking of guys that still have to qualify for the Mr. Olympia, Iain Valliere, probably one of the best guys outside of Roelly that has not qualified, and Akeem Williams. He took 7th at last year's Olympia. He posted this physique update of his back at 9 weeks out from the Tampa Pro Show. Looking very impressive. Honestly, I think Iain has made a lot of improvements from last year to now. I think his showing at the Olympia was a significant improvement between Tampa and the Olympia, even between his New York Pro win in the Olympia. I think he made a lot of improvements, and he was one of my favorite bodybuilders on stage at the 2020 Olympia. I think he did really well in terms of improving what he brought. So at 9 weeks out, Iain is already looking dangerous, and there was this other picture that was on his story. So that was a picture of his back, but there was this other picture that he was like, it was like a tagged photo, just showing how massive Iain looks at 9 weeks out. I mean, this guy is a huge bodybuilder. I mean, make no mistake about it, he's really is a mass monster. And that's what I said when I was talking about Roelly, the condition that Roelly looks in, the shape that he looks in, the size that he's still carrying. I think Roelly looks more like he's 9 weeks out from a show, comparable to how Iain is looking in this picture here. So that's why I would put Roelly kind of in that point in the prep for whatever he's doing. I don't think it's going to be Puerto Rico. I don't think it's going to be anything earlier than that. I think it's going to be Tampa. It's probably the safest bet. To me, Roelly looks about 9 weeks out. But I mean, can we just take a second to appreciate how massive Iain Valliere looks in this picture? All right, now next up in the news, speaking of bodybuilders getting ready for shows again, Guy Cisternino, who still needs to qualify for the 212 Mr. Olympia this year, he posted a physique update. Well, he posted one a couple days ago where he was kind of vague about what show he's doing, but he posted another physique update today with the caption 20 days. And what's in 20 days? That is the Puerto Rico Pro at the end of June. So it looks like we won't see Guy versus Keon in Chicago. It looks like that will be the beginning of Guy's attempt to qualify for the Olympia, assuming he's able to win that show. He might have to go on and do some other shows if he doesn't to get enough points or to win another show. But it looks like the Puerto Rico Pro is the show that Guy has his eyes set on, so it looks like that will be the next time we see Guy Cisternino step on stage. And from the looks of these physique updates, Guy looks like he's in really good shape. Now, we saw that interesting collab earlier with Larry and Roelly. There was another interesting collab that I saw today, Hunter Labrada and his dad, Lee Labrada. Lee Labrada, of course, legendary, classic bodybuilder from the 80s and 90s. He's in his 60s now. Posing down with Hunter, who Hunter is about 7 weeks out now from the Chicago Pro, where he's going to go to battle with, as you guys know, Akeem Williams, Sergio Oliva Jr., Charles Griffin, those guys. So he's in really good shape, but just showing off some of the size he has next to his dad. I mean, everyone wants to be bigger than their dad, right? Especially when your dad is a champion pro bodybuilder. So this was just kind of a cool moment and a cool physique update. Number one, showing off the size that Hunter really has, how big Hunter really is, but also showing how shredded Lee still is at his age. I thought it was pretty impressive. So that is going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, please smash that like button. It helps out a lot with the algorithm. Try to get the video to 10,000 likes so more people can see it. Let me know what you guys thought about the video in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you have not subscribed already. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.